Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my April design team project for Gina B. Aaron's designs. This time I'm going to be using all digital downloads from her Etsy shop. I am totally in love with her new designs, Doodles on Black, and that's what these are right here. These are some that she sent me on sticker paper and things like that. But you can download them, print them yourself, or you can purchase the stickers that are already cut out for you. And then these papers that I'm currently cutting are backgrounds that you can download digitally and print and use in your art. So these have been printed on regular copy paper, and they're just fun background designs that you can use in a lot of different ways. I decided to cut them because of the challenge this month being cut and punch, or cut or punch. I thought I would cut them up into strips and use them that way. When you cut something into smaller pieces, like even if it's a very large thing, if you can find a little section in that background that you love and you can cut out just that section, and it really changes the feel of what you're looking at when you cut it into smaller pieces. You tend to focus more on individual elements when you do it that way. So I cut 1/4-inch strips. I ended up with 1/4-inch strips. I cut some other ones and then decided that what I wanted was the 1/4-inch size. And I'm using this one that's a little bit larger as an anchor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down the strips across this anchor, and then I'm going to use it to weave the strips together for my background on my art journal page. I'm going to be working in a homemade journal, and it only has 2 pages left. This is the very first one that you open. It's not a 2-page spread. It's like a single, and then there's one in the back. And once I finish those 2 pages, I'll be excited that I have another art journal completed. Because, we start with an art journal, and we do some pages in it, and then we switch to a different one because we get a different one, or we make a different one, and we're excited about a different size or a different type of paper. Then sometimes those don't ever get finished at all. They're just like hanging around with a few pages here and there already completed and a lot of pages needing to be done. So this is going to be my very first page in the journal. So you can see as I'm weaving these strips together, just a very simple technique of weaving them together, it changes the whole look of the background. It looks completely different when you've cut it up and you're weaving it together. And yeah, this is a couple different ones that I cut up because I didn't think I would have enough paper, enough to do with just one. But they coordinate with each other. They're from the same pack, and they have teal and blue and black. And it really is interesting what of a different look you get by doing something like this, or even by just cutting it into squares and rearranging the squares and putting them in different order. You get a lot of a different effect when you cut up the backgrounds. I like to do this when I make master boards and things like that. I cut them up into different pieces and use them on cards and use them on tags, and it's just fun. It just takes something that you loved in the first place and then makes it even more interesting, and you love it in a second way. So I suggest you guys get out some painty paper or backgrounds that you've made, cut them up and see if you like them better rearranged. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So I'm just, going over, under, over, under, under, over, under, over, all the way across. I keep having to cut more strips because I realize I don't have enough. And I use basically almost 2 whole pieces of paper just to make this one little section, which logically doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it should be the same size, but I don't know. I can't quite wrap my mind around. I guess because it's actually doubled up because of the over-under. You're using twice as much paper than you would have just plain. But anyway, yeah. So I continue to weave it, and then once it gets large enough to do the background of my page, I will stop, and I will need to be like gluing some of the edge pieces down so that it becomes more, so that it doesn't come apart and come unweaved when I'm trying to glue it to my background. So I get my book and I see that it's pretty much the size now of the page. I need to trim the one side off, the flaps off. So I go and I glue every other one down on the top. Then I have to flip it over and glue the other ones down on the back. And I'm just gluing them down to the first strip. I'm not going crazy with it or anything. That one, see, that one came unwove. You can see that they're not going to stay there unless you do something. So I'm just using some tacky glue to do that. And even the back of it looks cool. Like that would make a cool background, just, the white woven into white strips. But anyway, I get it tacked down and then I trim the one side. See if we can ever get to that part. I should probably have sped this up. This is a little bit boring, but glue the tabs, glue the tabs, glue the tabs. Then I have to trim off the one side, take all the little flaps off the one side so that it can fit into the groove there of where my page is. And I have, of course, some scratch paper protecting the pages underneath. But then I realize what I really want is to have a black background, not a white background, so that for this is for two reasons. One is that the paper does show through in the in-betweens, and I want it to really stand out as being a weave. I don't want it to just fade out into the black background. So I paint it with black gesso, dry it, and then now I'm putting some matte gel medium on both the back of the woven piece and the paper so I can get this really well stuck down to my paper. And I think it looks cool. It's something different, something that I've thought about doing before and have never actually bothered to do. But then when, it was all about cutting and punching, I decided that I should cut some paper and thought that was something good to do. So now I'm trimming off the edges of the pages, all these little leftover tab bits everywhere, and making sure that they're all glued down. If you're wondering why that plastic box is there, it's because this is the very first page of the journal, and it's so uneven to lay it down. I can't, the spine is really bothering me. So I put that underneath the one front cover, and then it makes it all even all the way across. So then I go ahead and make sure everything's glued down. I just use my glue stick to make sure that, there's a couple that were coming up in areas. I don't know why they do that. You put the glue all over everything. You put the medium all over everything and just slather it, and still there's a corner that wants to come up. I don't get it. So now these are the doodles on black. And like I said, you can get them as stickers already cut out, or you can get them as a digital download and print them yourself. And these are somewhere in between. Gina sometimes sends us what she calls her mistakes. These aren't really mistakes, but some of it is printed on sticker paper, but it doesn't have the cutout portion around it, like she printed it as a test or something. And then some of them are just printed on regular paper. And I get out some punches, squares, circles, and then some of them I just actually cut out with scissors, but I make sure that I'm leaving a black border around them because I want them to stand out from the background, and having that black edge is really the look that I wanted. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning, but there's something, I love these black paper doodles that she has. I love them. They're like my favorite thing right now. And she has this account with something called Teespring, and she had this design, these doodles, made into leggings. And I'll make sure that those are linked in the description box below because they are so cute. I want some really, really, really bad. They're so cute. I probably don't need leggings right now because, it's hot here in Arizona now, and leggings, I wouldn't be able to wear them until next winter, but believe me, they are adorable. You should go check them out. So now with the ones that I can peel the backs off, I'm peeling them and sticking them down kind of in a arc along the outside edge of my art journal page. And I, of course, laid them out first. And what you really should do, if you really are thinking about composition, you should lay out your thing, get it the way you want it, and then take a picture of it. Because when you go to stick it down, usually you change everything around. Although I did not. I left them in place, and I did a pretty good job of keeping it the way I wanted. But I did think I needed something extra up at the top and then down at the bottom. I wanted it to be like a crescent shape because I'm planning on nestling some words in that other space, and I wanted kind of like I wanted the doodles to curve around it. So I cut out a few more. I'm trying different things, figuring out what I want. And then I see this one that looks like a flower, and I decide to cut it out and put it at the bottom like it's growing out of the bottom. And then I put that circular one up the top, and I'm pretty satisfied with it at that point. So this was a fun and easy page because everything was digitally downloaded and printed. I didn't draw anything. I didn't paint anything. I did weave the paper, which took a minute. But you can do something like this in your journal fairly quickly with these fun digital products that you can buy on Gina's Etsy store. So there's the little flower. It's kind of like a tulip. It's really cute. And then that other little circle thing that I punched out with a circle punch. So I'm happy with those, getting them all stuck down and dry. Now this one is a different digital download, and these can be printed onto a certain size of labels. And I know in my other videos you've seen me use these. Lots of really great words to use in your journal or your planner or on ATCs or tags or whatever you're making. They're just positive words, and they come black on white, white on black, and then black on this turquoise color. And I decided to use that because that color is in some of the doodles and also in the background. And I'm picking ones that are specific to what I need right now. Those of you who listened to my vlog last month know that I'm having some struggles in my life right now, and so these are things that I need to hear. These are things that I need to tell myself, mantras that I need to repeat to myself. So those are the words that I picked. But there's all kinds of interesting words on these. And mine are printed on paper because at the time that I downloaded it, I didn't have the right size stickers. But I do now, and I should just print the darn things. But, you know, I don't like to waste stuff. And so I've just been cutting them apart and using them this way instead of going ahead and reprinting everything onto stickers. But eventually I will, because I'll have used up enough of it that I'll feel like that I'm not being wasteful. So once I have everything all stuck down, now it's time to do a little bit of Posca pen work over the top. Just because someone else doodled these doesn't mean I can't redoodle them. Add more dots, add more lines, add, you know, stuff that makes it more mine. Yeah, this is someone else's art, but by adding my personal hand to it, it makes it more about what I like, even though I love these the way they are. So I have my black Posca pen, my white Posca pen. I'm adding little lines and dots, and I'm circling around some of this stuff and just making it a little bit more personalized. I add some scratchy lines around the words. I add some dots on the corners of the words. And yeah, just fun doodling stuff like you would do if you were making these in the first place, which I have a black journal and I really should be doing because all my friends are doing it and I just haven't got into doing it, but it's so much fun to doodle onto black. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this project. Like I said, all the links are below for you so you can find the products on Gina's Etsy shop and on the Teespring for the leggings, which I think are so cool. And also I'll put links to, you know, the types of mediums and stuff that I use, but that's not going to be a very long list because it was pretty short and easy page. Also, remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and of course turn on those notification bells, and you can pin this to Pinterest or share it on your Facebook if you want to. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.